Welcome to Searching for Truth and Treasure in Alabama with Alabama historian, videographer, and speaker Jim Phillips. Jim has spent the last 40 years exploring and finding amazing artifacts on lesser-known sites in the state. He's here with us to discuss the how and where you can legally explore old, privately owned sites and find those amazing treasures from the state's past. Plus, he's going to tell you a story or two about hard-to-believe events he's encountered as he's toured the state. So let's get into it. Here's Jim Phillips. Hey guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Jim, how are you today?
You know, we're redoing a presentation, a podcast, because there were some things I wanted to change from this version. So we're going to get into the subject matter, but we're going to redo it a little bit. And I told you last time I think I'm doing fine, and I don't look in the mirror, and I'm doing fine. If I look in the mirror and see how old I've got, I ain't doing fine.
That's why we do this.
Hey, didn't look in the mirror. Well, I did. I shaved, but I shaved blindfolded, so I'm okay.
That's why we do this as an audio-only podcast.
Right, you got it. Yeah, you talk about going video later, it'll scare the hell out of everybody. Nobody will watch it. But
So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, my podcasts are titled, as you know, Searching for Truth and Treasure in Alabama. I've had a ton of crazy things happen to me, mystifying things. We're going to get a little bit into that. I want to, about the first third to maybe a half at the max of my little podcast to kind of deal with something amazing that's happened to me. What was that all about? Searching for truth. And then the other half, we're going to talk about finding artifacts, looking for lost treasure, things that have been found, things that are still out there that aren't being found. And of course, we want to plug the fact that I've now done over 1,200 talks for the last several years at retirement communities, senior clubs at churches, libraries, colleges, historical societies, civic clubs. I'm all over the place. I speak in Mississippi, Tennessee, and Georgia. And I always tell them that's pronounced Georgia. They get a kick. And I'm going over there in a few days. I love West Georgia. I really do. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit about some amazing things that have happened. Now, do you still have that sound from the opening scene of Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I do.
I want you to play that right now because we're going to get into a story that's true.
All right, here it is.
Okay, that sound builds up a crescendo with a thunderous note at the end of it. I'm driving in 1977 below Birmingham at night about 1 in the morning in my little MGB, and I'm playing the 8-track, and I put in the 8-track of the soundtrack to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The movie leads off with that sound. It's an amazing scene. If you've never seen the opening scene to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I cried because I knew what it was about. It was about missing Flight 19 mysteriously reappearing in a desert. But anyway, I'm watching a meteor come through the sky as that sound effect is building up, that it gets up, and then on that thunderous note where it goes, dun, the meteorite, well, it's a meteor at this point, it explodes. It's like 1,000 pieces on that very note, just like something in a movie. On that very note, I mean, timed it perfectly. I couldn't believe it. And then there's this angelic music after that thunderous note. And to that angelic music, I'm watching all the little pieces of the meteor showering down, fading away. I pulled on the side of the road. I couldn't believe it. But I thought maybe that's a sign of something that's going to happen later on. Now, we'll get into a little bit. And the first thing we did, you said what we're going to talk about. I said something nobody wants to talk about, UFOs. Yeah, that's all anybody's talking about. And right. I said, well, the Air Force now is releasing video where the pilots are showing what looks like globe, circular things. Unbelievable speed, and they change angles, 90-degree turn. They don't do it a gradual turn, it's 90 degree. Nobody can live through that. I just wish the pilots would quit sounding like 12-year-olds. Hey, bro. Hey, dude, did you see that, bro? I mean, these are your Navy pilots. What are they smoking? Yeah, dude, bro. God, so childish. And I'm a Navy fan. I wanted to be a Navy pilot when I was in high school. My eyes went bad. Lucky Navy, I didn't get in. But anyway, I'm sitting in the coffee shop at Starbucks. I love coffee. I got my coffee over here, don't I, Philip?
You do.
Decaf
Always.
Coffee. I need one more than your cups, by the way, for the coffee. But anyway, I love to watch the sunset. And I'm sitting on my therapeutic couch over there. You know, the old man comes in and sits down, and all the kids are in there with their iPhones. You know, they got their computer, laptops, iPhones. Nobody looks up, and I'm a real big critic of that. Nobody watches the world. I do, and I love a sunset. I've always said that truth is found the easiest as the sun starts to set. Anyway, I'm watching the sun. It's about to go down. It's kind of behind some clouds. Now, let me tell you this. I know airplanes. I know distance. I know the clouds I'm looking at are about 5 miles out. They're kind of over the main part of Birmingham, the airport and all. And I'm watching planes that fly in and out. And it's the normal thing from that view, that time of day. And suddenly, I see a long black object come drifting down out of the clouds. And I thought, this is an airliner that's crashed with another airliner or a plane. And it's drifting down to the earth, coming straight down. But there's no debris. I'm waiting for another plane to come down. This thing comes down at the speed a 747 airliner would fall if it was in a collision. And then it just stops. It doesn't bounce or wobble. It just stops perfectly still. There are no engines. There's no wings to it. There's nothing. It's like a long, I'm not going to say saucer, but it is, it's not razor thin.
Right.
But like a thick saucer. But I'll call it a rectangle because it's like a long black rectangle. But it did look like maybe it was rounded on the ends.
Right.
I don't know the exact shape except it was big. It was the size of an airliner. I know my distance. I know my size. And it sat there. And it sat there. And it sat there. It did not move. And like I said in the previous podcast that we're redoing, I'm the biggest critic of people that stick their noses in those damn iPads all day long and never look up. So I know nobody's looking at this thing but me, right?
That's right.
And as I said previously, a friend said to me, why didn't you video it with your iPhone? Number one, I didn't know how to do the video on the iPhone. Probably still not very good at it. Number two, I'm not going to take my eyes off of this thing.
That's right.
You're trying to get your iPhone out of your backpack or something. I got a little satchel I carry with me. It's going to be gone.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're not going to take your eyes off. So I'm staring at it. And I did say this to myself because so much happens to me. I said, I don't need this shit. I'm tired of things that can't be explained. But anyway, so it sat there. Then it goes, shoo, like it's on ice.
Wow.
Off to the southwest. And I said previously, and I think 1,500 miles an hour ought to do it. From a dead still start, no picking up speed, just dead still straight out of here about 1,500 miles an hour. So then, of course, I jumped up trying to see if I could see it out the other window. It's gone. Right. Nobody's aware of that. Just the crazy old man's dancing in front of the window, right? You know, they're used to that kind of stuff with me, I guess. But I called the next day. You call the TV stations and you ask for a reporter to call you. And you say, there was something mysterious over the sky. I've called reporters lately at the TV station. There's a cliff where people walk their dogs. If you go into the woods 10 feet, you'll fall to your death.
Yeah.
There needs to be a barrier fence over it.
Right.
Nobody calls me back about these things. So I couldn't get anybody to call me back. I think I called the control tower at the airport and said, did anybody see anything mysterious, an object over Birmingham? I don't try to identify it. Nobody said a thing. Now, in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I love the scene that's near the front where it shows an air traffic control operator and he's monitoring traffic. And TWA Flight 517 reports in, and he's saying, proceed to 5,000 feet, hold your course. He's guiding the traffic. Then Flight Aries, that's an airliner, Aries Flight 31 reports in. So he's telling these two airliners, TWA and Aries, where to move, and all of a sudden TWA sees something with unbelievable bright light. So when nothing's supposed to be in the area, they contact the Air Force. They say they have nothing in that area. Flight Aries 31 sees it, and these guys are getting nervous, these pilots. And they're saying, it's turning, readjust your course. Alarms go off in the control tower. Dan, 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 dan. There's 3 different alarms going off. Now, instead of 2 guys watching the scope, there's 15 guys staring at the scope, and they're sweating, and they're all talking to each other. What is this? What is this? Everybody's building up to a dynamic moment here. What's going to happen? Is there a collision? What is this thing? The pilots are scared. They're chattering back and forth. Do this, do that, do this. Finally, one of them says, it's turning into you. It's turning into you. And the guy says, good God, that was close. And then the control tower operator says, TWA 517, do you wish to report a UFO? Over. Silence. TWA 517, do you wish to report a UFO? Over. No, we don't want to report a UFO. Aries 31, do you wish to report a UFO? No, we don't want to report one of those either. Aries 31, do you wish to file a report on something unusual? We wouldn't know what to file.
Wow.
Yeah, and the control tower operator says, I wouldn't either. Now, what's going on there? You filed a report, and you're declared crazy.
Right.
You won't be a pilot. Now, I ain't afraid to file a report. This oh shit incident happened to me. It was either 18 or 19, and like I said in the previous one, you think I'd remember the damn year.
Yeah.
It was October. I know the time. I forgot the year. Maybe I'm mentally suppressing this.
And this was way before the doors started falling off all the Boeing airplanes, right?
yeah, before that. So we're having this. But listen, let me tell you now, nobody saw this thing, but I'm talking about a year and a half ago to a lady who's director of let's say an institution in North Alabama, and they have booked me to speak up there. And she's talking, and I do history talks, as you know, in early Alabama. Mostly history, treasure, stuff like that. And I incorporate Georgia and Mississippi into those stories when I travel to those states. But she said, you don't talk about this or that, and she mentioned UFOs, and I said, no, I don't. And she said, she was kind of playing me. She said, have you ever witnessed anything that was sort of UFO? And I said, well, yeah. And I told her, I said, I don't discuss it. And I told her what I've just stated. And she says, we saw that. Now, I don't know what day she saw it. She said, I think it was a Sunday afternoon. She and her family, 2 or 3 children, were visiting the lake. And they pulled out. And there was nobody else on the beach out from under the tree on the lakeside. She said this giant black object, just like she said, it was as big as an airliner. Hovering over the lake, right above the water. She says it was long, it was narrow, it's just hovering there. And she said, no engines, no wings. And then she said, just that story where they say these things gone in the blink of an eye. She said, straight up in a blink.
Wow.
I said, did anybody else see it? Somebody that worked in the park, I don't know, forest ranger or what, said, saw it, was terribly upset. She told me that her children were having a hard time sleeping. There was a lot of anxiety. They were really upset with this. They couldn't sleep. They're having trouble eating. They were having some real problems. She and her husband were upset about it too. It was bothering them. And she said, we may have to move from Alabama.
Wow.
Now, in the previous show, I said, and they did, but I implied it was definitely on account of this. I don't know.
Right.
But I wanted to get some more information confidentially. I don't think she discussed this with a lot of people. Remember the pilots? No, we don't report a UFO?
Right.
All right. I was that way too. But anyway, I wanted some information for her. So anyway, they told me she had moved. And I know what part of the country she moved to, but she told me the children wanted to move. They were getting afraid of living near where they witnessed that, so they were gone. Now, we talked about the energy field that hit the Jeep.
Yeah.
And it's not the death rattle.
The death wobble.
But the death wobble. Death wobble is something that Jeeps can inherit with the suspension, and when it hits, your steering wheel starts wobbling.
You just hit like the least little bump.
Yeah, a little bump that goes.
You're hanging on.
It's only your steering wheel, but it's going whoa, 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 whoa. But it's like the Jeep's going to fall apart. Exactly. I thought the damn Jeep was going to fall apart when on the viaduct, First Avenue viaduct.
Oh wow, yeah.
But anyway, I'm going up the interstate there, where Alford Road is, and like you said, you know that stretch.
Right.
There's always cars everywhere, but it's a Saturday afternoon. I didn't realize there were no cars around me. I got the left window down. I'm in the far left lane, and all of a sudden, this energy force hits my Jeep. I promise this is true. I thought a giant dually truck with about 5 big 15-inch woofers pulled up beside me. And as I said, they're playing rap music. I said, ain't nothing wrong with rap music. It's got a lot of bass in it.
That's right.
But, people like to blow your ears out with those raps. So, but I never experienced anything this strong. I just by reflex cut hard to the right without even seeing who was over there.
Yeah.
Because I thought with the window down and somebody to my left. Well, they have to be in the woods because there was no light. But I cut to the right, and thankfully nobody was there. It did not let go. It was, and I mean my bones are vibrating. I can feel the energy in my bones. I can feel the energy. It's in the dash. The radio's off. You can feel it in the metal, in your body. You can feel all over it. It's intense energy. And it's loud. And all this energy is vibrating through your Jeep. And I started hearing a language I don't know what language it was, but it was like a conversation. But it was like, da, 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 da. And what is that? And then all of a sudden the tone started. And I know a tone is in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but the reason it is that people have reported hearing tones with some of these unusual experiences. So they put it in the movie. I did not hear the tone from Close Encounters, which was pretty. It was dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
remember that? My tone was boring. It was like dun, 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 pause, dun, 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 over and over and over. So there I am. And I'm trying to repeat this tone. And I look everywhere. There's no car in front of me, behind me. And how does that happen on Alford?
Weird, yeah.
I mean, but maybe somebody somewhere knew something and I was alone out there. But anyway, so I'm going, dun, 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 trying to memorize this tone amongst woo, 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 and da, 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 talking. Da, da. All this is going on at the same time. So I'm saying the tone over and over. And I'm hoping my Jeep holds up because it's in this energy field that won't let go. This happens for about 25, 30 seconds. It just, whoop, it stops instantly. Everything's gone. I pull off to the gas station up the hill up there, which is where Alford is, I think, that Chevron station.
Yeah.
And I pull out my iPhone, and I call a friend, and I said, he knows music. Write this down. Quick, no explanation. Write these notes down. So he's laughing. He's laughing because I'm funny with him. I said, don't lose it. And I called him about 2 nights later. He's writing the notes down, and he reads them back. I said, that's it. Don't lose it. And I never got it from him. I said, I'll get it from you later. Now, what am I planning on doing? Well, I'm thinking about it. I watch the sunsets a lot from mountaintops. I need to go to a mountaintop and hum that tune, or I need to get somebody that says, well, you're crazy, but we'll play that tone over and over on the radio station. Mm-hmm. Say, we've got a report of this tone. We're just going to do a little experiment.
Yeah.
I guess the SEC, will they allow that?
I mean, I don't know why they would stop it.
Transmit the damn thing. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I called my friend back. Where's the tone? I want to get it. Oh, I lost that old thing.
Oh, no.
And I was telling you in the first podcast we did on this, it's like, maybe that was a tone, had a message in there that would save mankind.
Right.
Maybe that was the signal to save mankind from imminent doom.
And we're never going to know.
We'll never know. But who's to say? But anyway, the tone was there. I didn't remember the stupid thing. It did not haunt me like it did Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters. They were making the Devil's Tower, which is where the UFO landed. It was in their subconscious. The tone was in their subconscious.
Right.
This tone was not in my subconscious. I forgot the thing.
You wish it would have been in your subconscious.
I do. 5 minutes after I called my friend, I forgot it.
Yeah.
So it did not haunt me, but then he lost it. So we're doomed.
And it's all your friends'
save
fault.
Mankind.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Or at very least, tell us how to run a car on water.
Yeah. So anyway, by the way, I did have my meteorite.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
It was a meteor and then hit the earth, and that was in the console of my Jeep.
Ah.
So was this a beacon?
Could have been.
Supposition for
you never know. You never know.
But that baby,
that thing's huge.
Yeah, now let me tell you about this meteorite. I don't even know where I found it. I think I found it in the woods, but I remember where I found it. Nobody had an iron mill there. Mm-hmm. Nobody. It was uninhabited. It was in the woods where there was. Why am I in the woods? Well, I was doing a nature walk, but I had my metal detector with me.
Yeah.
So I had no reason.
Because you always have your metal detector with you.
Yeah. I carry.
Jim carries his metal detector like I carry my iPhone.
Yeah. Metal
Always.
detectors usually got more than this, but let me tell you, I dug this up. I do remember it about a foot deep. Now, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Now, I sent an image of this to a professor at the University of Alabama. She's a British lady, and I don't blame her for this. She kind enough to email me back, says it's a meteor wrong. That's the term they'll use for what you thought was a meteorite.
Right.
A meteor that's hit the earth, but it's not ready, so it's a meteor wrong. They love that term. Well, anyway, though, but I was at a rockhound conference in Cahaba Heights near that coffee shop, and one of Georgia's, if not the leading mineralogist, a leading mineralogist for the state of Georgia was there. I showed him this, and I said, what do you think of this? I was afraid maybe it was slag. He said, you got a magnet. And I got a magnet near it. Now, that's heavy. If you look at
that's
this,
really heavy,
It's really heavy. It's 4 times heavier, 5 times if that was a rock.
Yeah.
Anyway, it jumps up to the magnet. Well, that's a good sign, an iron meteorite. But anyway, I said I worried about the little crystals in it and the little puscles there that I said that, he said, well, the heat coming through the atmosphere will do that. He looked at it, and I said, I've had a professor get a picture of it via email, and she says it's slag. He said,
Yeah.
Now, I know slag because
Yeah.
I metal detected where there used to be ironworks.
Right.
And this ain't slag. In my
No, and slag wouldn't be that heavy.
No,
Would it?
it's not.
Would it?
Slag's
Yeah.
not this heavy. Slag's
no.
not this heavy. And anyway, he looked at
Yeah,
it.
we'll put a picture of that on our website.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on the website.
JimPhillipsAlabama.com.
This may be my brother outside his office. My brother is Dr. Doug Phillips, and I don't know what his title is, but he's like probably the leading outdoorsman educator in Alabama. He's on the ecosystems and nature, and he's got this beautiful office. It's a whole side of a hallway in the Museum of Natural History at the University of Alabama. Right outside his door is the Ann Hodges meteorite.
Yeah.
This is the only time a human being was ever hit by a meteorite.
Right.
It was a meteor till it hit her leg. This is a meteorite. It came
Right.
through the roof of her house in 1954 in Sylacauga, Alabama, and bruised her leg. It's pretty big. Now, it's bigger than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
About 5 times bigger than that. But it's in a glass case outside Doug's office, which is ironic. And but this may be the second largest known meteorite once I get it classified in Alabama. It's going to be one of the 10 largest known meteorites in Alabama. But that sucker was in my console when that extraterrestrial, we'll call it,
Definitely,
engine force.
They're looking for their rocks.
Yeah.
So, hey, interesting story.
Oh, it says, I'm here, come rescue
Yeah,
me.
interesting story about the Sylacauga thing. My dad was a kid, and he saw that fall
you
from the
serious?
sky. He was on Lake Martin in the Lake Martin area, Dadeville, Alexander City there. They were out pulpwooding because that was what they did as, that family business, logging.
Yeah.
And he said he remembers seeing what they thought was an airplane crashing, and he remembers telling his dad, that looks like it probably went down around Childersburg or Sylacauga, and then the next day they figured out.
Have you ever seen the picture of the bruise
I
on her
have,
leg?
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, she and her husband got divorced. They started wanting money for it.
Well, sure.
Big squabbles and everything. But the university got it. It was finally donated. I think they got a little money.
So at least you haven't been hit by something yet, Jim. I say yet. I mean, I don't know if I want to hang out with you very much or not. I mean,
Yeah, it can be risky. We need to get into some treasures here. Best finds. Of course, I love to explore old plantation sites, and I said in the previous podcast that the Alabama Historical Commission frowns upon people metal detecting, and there's a reason for that. A lot of it's justified. People get on people's property without permission. People do not need to be on archaeologically significant sites metal detecting. Leave that to the archaeologists. They've got work to do.
right.
They're sifting through remains of things that are part of Alabama's history. I had an aunt call me, and up where we used to live in Blount County when I was little, it's called Phillips Road, and my cousin told me up there, they lived up there, said, come out behind the house, and up above the creek, way up where these two creeks meet, that's where Indians like to carve things, where the creeks would meet. Why together? They believed there were supernatural powers where streams came together. Anyway, she says, look at this mound. This has got to be an Indian mound, a burial mound. And I believe it was.
Yeah.
It was about 10, 12 feet high. It's pretty big. She says to me, now, if you keep quiet about it and digging this, we might find some Indian treasure, and I'll share it with you. And I told her, I said, listen, you don't want me digging in this. I'll squeal.
Right.
I'll go tell the Museum of Natural History. I said, this stuff, if it's Indian artifacts, belong to the people of Alabama. It ain't mine and it ain't yours.
Right.
Even though it's on your property.
Yeah.
I said, so if you want to go looking for treasure in it, don't do it when I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
I won't dig in it.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
But if I know you're digging in it, I don't have to know it.
Right.
I know it. I'm going to squeal on you.
That's
because
right.
These are artifacts that belong to people of Alabama.
Plausible deniability, right?
Right. So I don't know what she did. I said, it's your property. You can do whatever you want when I leave and all that, but don't, I'm not going to be involved in it. And I've told people that many times. We've got an Indian mound on our property. So that's going to belong to the people of Alabama. And I've had 3 offers now come digging these mounds. I said, I don't do that. I don't do that. I do not hunt arrowheads even. Metal
Right.
detector won't find those.
Right,
I
right.
don't do that. So I offer my services to archaeologists, not that I'm some great genius, but there's places where they're excavating, and I will come loan you a metal detector, show you how to use it. You can borrow it. And so I try to work with those folks because they do great work. Anyway, some of my best finds. I'm hunting private property with the property owner's permission. And I'm at this old antebellum site, and I've dug up like 1813 silver $half. It's beautiful. We're going to put a picture of that up. I have in my possession, when they tore up Main Street, the old historic Greensboro Avenue in Tuscaloosa, and you and I went to the University of Alabama, and they took the pavement off for about 5 blocks and dug down about 10 inches deep. Oh, my Lord. You're getting down to 1818, 1820s when you do that. They rope it off like in yellow crime tape. It says, do not cross in here, and it's against the law, as I have been told, to metal detect on city property in Tuscaloosa. I couldn't stand it. I called the head of the Heritage Association down there and says, listen, man, I'd done this talk for them. I said, tell me you got a team of people out there, metal detectors, under your authority.
Right, right.
Not as thieves, to find these artifacts that should belong to the people of Tuscaloosa. Go to your museum and all. Well, yeah, we're in touch with some people. I said, what are they finding, man? I said, oh, they tell us they're not finding anything. Oh, give me a break.
They're not very good.
Give me a break. So anyway, I go down there, and everybody's locked in with COVID back then. And my daughter hasn't graduated yet. She's over in her apartment. So I can't take it. I pull over and I'm looking at the yellow ribbon, 5 blocks of it in this dirt for 5 blocks that dates back to 1818 or so. And I get out there with my Garrett GTI 2500. I want to plug that sucker.
Yeah.
Because I want Garrett to kind of do a little sponsor and helping me with this. This detector gives you the size, what it thinks it is, and the depth of it.
Oh, wow.
It's got a vertical grid, and it'll say smaller than coin. The horizontal grid is, put a little oval in, it's going to say smaller than coin, coin size, larger than coin, aluminum can size, bigger than an aluminum can. The vertical grid says 1 inch, or 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, goes down, it says 12 inches or deeper.
Wow.
It's dead on accurate.
That's awesome.
So I'm out there like at 90 seconds. I'm ignoring the little signals that could be gold.
Right,
because they
right.
read as pull tab. And I dug my 20 million pull tabs, and only one of them's been gold.
Right.
I mean, 20 million pull tabs, and one of them's gold.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I ain't got time for that. I got to be quick. So we'll go for the silver. So anyway, I'm scanning, and within 90 seconds, it bell tones on silver. Boom, 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 boom. I look down, and the icon says between quarter and half. Then it keeps jumping to half, and it says 4 inches deep. And I said, oh, man, that's a silver half. And it is.
Wow.
One scoop, I bring up the GTI 2500 can be dead on accurate when you know how
Wow,
to use
that's
it. No other
amazing.
detector can do that. I think they make a little brother called the 1500, but the 2500 to me is superior, and it costs more.
Yeah.
So there it is in my hands. 1856 New Orleans Mint silver half.
Wow.
The front, the obverse is in near mint, but the reverse was the one facing up.
Yep.
And it got all the leakage coming down from rain, and it has got some corrosion. And my rich doctor friend, you never rub a rare coin,
Right.
because even with cotton, you will scratch it.
Yeah.
He soaked it in chemicals, but it did not recover.
Ah.
So it's the value, well, subjective.
Right.
But
right.
hey, it belongs to the people of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I did one of my talks at the library down there, and I said, come arrest me. I broke the law. Here it is. I dug it. I wasn't supposed to be there, but it belongs to you. If
Yeah,
anybody wants
yeah.
it, we'll put it on display.
Right.
But I ain't giving it to an individual.
Right.
Anyway, so what's that worth? Now, this guy that used to play football with Alabama Crimson Tide in the 1990s bought some land right out of Tuscaloosa, and I've got that coin here. He's digging post holes He's not looking for treasure. You should dig a post.
Yeah, yeah.
And
just
you know,
working.
you dig a hole about 3 feet, 2 feet deep, put a post in it. You go 10 feet, 9 feet, dig another one in a straight
Right.
line. What are the odds of where he stopped to dig a hole? Up comes rusted metal and 276 pre-Civil War gold and silver coins.
Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
That's a good day on the back
I got
40.
one of them. My rich doctor friend, he keeps telling me, quit telling people I'm rich. I'll tell you how rich he is in a minute. You know, I call him my fantasy friend, but he
Right.
really exists. We'll
Yeah.
get to the coin. Okay, anyway, he bought the collection. It's 98% intact. The guy let some of them, the ex-football player, get them out, but to get away. The doctor bought it, and I've got one of them here. It's got the rust stains on it. Now, I appraise coins, and I charge a fee for that if I don't buy any. And when I appraise coins, I educate people. People don't know what a mint mark is on a coin.
Right, right.
Let me go, before we get into coins, let's go over a little bit of something with you. Gold and silver has two kinds of value in coins. It's bullion value. That is, what's its value on a given day with the amount of silver or gold it contains based on the value of gold or silver that day per troy ounce. You calculate what's gold worth today per troy ounce, what's silver worth today per troy ounce. That will determine your bullion value of your gold and silver coins. That fluctuates. Numismatic value, that's the value of a coin to a collector.
Right.
That's based on rarity. The rarer something is, obviously, the more money it's worth, like in antique cars or something. So,
Right.
rarity is determined by how many coins were made, what's the mint mark on the coin, was it minted in New Orleans, Dahlonega, Georgia, Washington, Denver, San Francisco. This has a great determinating factor of the value of a coin. Then how much wears on it. You got to know how to grade a coin. About good means you can barely read anything on it. Good means you can read, but it's really worn. Very good, fine, extra fine, almost uncirculated. Then you get to MS's, mint states. It goes all the way up to MS 70. Now, what does that mean? Well, this guy, Middle Detective, found a 1901 S barber quarter. It's minted in San Francisco. That's what the S means on the back. A little tiny S. Now, that 1901 barber quarter, you asked me before.
Yeah.
Why they call it a barber quarter?
Why barber?
Mr. Barber designed it. And you says, who's Mr. Barber? And I said, hell, I don't know. Well, I do. He's an engraver. And I said, we got a dairy in town named Barber Dairy. Maybe
that's right.
Maybe he's a milkman, but he's not. He's an engraver. Let's clarify that.
Okay, all right, good
I
deal.
wasn't that stupid. I know who Mr. Barber is. Okay. But anyway, he got a 1901 barber quarter designed by Mr. Barber. So unlike anything 99% of you people have ever seen. But anyway, let's say it's got wear on it. It's going to grade very good. All right. It's going to have some numismatic value versus bullion. Where silver is right now, about $22, $23 a troy ounce. The value of that quarter is going to be maybe $3.50, $4, somewhere in there, okay? That's bullion value. Numismatic value in very good. Coin dealer will probably sell it for $17, $18, okay? But he's only going to give you the bullion value. Now, you turn that coin over like the guy did in Middle Texas in the park, and there's a little S. Well, guess what? You now got a numismatic value of $15,000.
Oh, wow.
You see what
Just
I'm
from one little letter.
Yeah, and now if it was uncirculated mint state, you got a bullion value of maybe $80,000.
Wow.
See, see the rarity involved. Okay,
yeah.
Now I'm appraising coins. Actually, I'm doing a history talk to a bunch of seniors, and I get done, and I'll call him. Henry comes up and says, Jim, Louise, and I got some old coins. Do you want to see them? So you want me to appraise them? Well, we might sell them. I didn't believe what they had. I went to the farmhouse, beautiful home on a mountain. Boxes of silver dollars and quarters and halves and everywhere. And I had a little money back then, a little more than I do now. Now that the daughter's gone through college. That drains
Still trying to recover.
But anyway, I started buying his silver coins. Silver was a very low $10.80 an ounce then, I think. And I mean, golly, that's a record low. So I said, I guess I need to give you about $9.50 on these silver dollars and half that on the halves, about $4.50 on the halves or something, $2 on the quarters. He said, just give me $6 each on the silver dollars and $3 on the halves, etc. I says, but they're worth more, Henry. Jim, we don't need them.
Wow.
He says, we don't need them. We got no inheritance. And his wife was in very poor health.
Yeah.
So he says, I hope you strike it rich. Well, I opened a binder, and he had some nice ones in a binder. They're slid in little slots in plastic. There's a rare one in there. I'm not even going to tell you what it was, but I knew it was rare, but it had oxidized. That polyethylene caused a chemical reaction. What you got on that beautiful silver dollar is a green powdery crust, right?
Yeah.
So now, you don't ever get a rag and alcohol try to rub that off because you've damaged the coin permanently now.
Right.
So if there's value in there, you try to dip it in certain chemicals and let that just dissolve off without rubbing it. Well, my wealthy doctor friend, I waited till silver got to about $30 an ounce, and I started selling. I didn't know it was going to go to $99,
Wow.
$49 an ounce within a year, and I'm selling them off when it gets to $29 and $30. But I'm selling for $24, $25 what I was paying.
Yeah, you're still
$6.
making good money.
Oh yeah, I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
Pay taxes on it too. Which
Well,
I'm
sure.
So I'm told, why did you do that? Because as I told you before, I'm so poor. I like putting anything down as income. But anyway, I had that one coin, and the doctor bought it for $90, and he called me up. He says, I'm going to try to work a miracle on this coin. There's about 3 or 4 chemicals. He's a metallurgical genius.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a psychiatrist. He's an ordained minister. He's a surgeon. He's a metallurgical genius. He's a bullion expert. I mean, what isn't he, right?
Wow.
He's a charitable guy. He raises vegetables to give to the poor.
Oh, that's cool.
And one reason he likes me is I spent 2 or 3 years picking up hundreds of thousands of dollars of pastries at Panera and taking them to jail.
Yeah, I remember you doing that.
Homeless, yeah. And I love doing that because meeting those guys, they're my brothers, kept my head screwed on straight.
Yeah.
And I'm just as poor as they are. So, but anyway, the doctor says to me, going to try to work a miracle. I give the 3% chance. He calls me up a month later, says it worked.
Wow.
I have restored this coin by chemical dipping. It's mint state, MS60 to 63. I will take it to a coin expo. If you want to come by tonight, I'll give you $350 more. I said $375 previously. It was $350. But anyway, he says, or you decide. I'll take it to coin expo and split it with you, sell it. I said, well, I'm no idiot. I says, but why are you doing that? It's your coin. And I love the way he said it. He says, shut up, Jim. I'm trying to help you. That's one time somebody telling me, shut up. I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. So I said, sell it. He called me up from the Coin Expo. And he says, I've been offered $13,500.
Whoa.
Do you want me to sell it?
Oh, my God.
I said, it's your coin. Once again, shut up.
Yeah.
I said, sell it. But you got to take out 1,000 or so for restoring. And he says, I will. He decided to keep it. He called me up, said, come by the house. The guy could live in a castle.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful home. He owns the mountain he lives on, but it's an unpretentious home. It's just a nice home.
Yeah, yeah.
He drives Hondas. He's going to Chattanooga.
Nothing wrong with a Honda.
Go to
Nothing wrong with a Honda.
He says, I don't have to do anything to prove anything to anybody.
That's right.
I don't live life to try to prove things to
Yeah,
people, what I'm worth and stuff. So he's going to Chattanooga and wants to save like $450 on a Honda Accord. I got to admire that. But anyway, I go by his house, and he did. He gave me $6,000 cash.
Wow.
And I reported
That's
it
awesome.
on my taxes. Again, you say, you stupid idiot. And like I said in the previous podcast, I guess, hey, I made more than $13,000 this year, IRS. I'm just embarrassed about how little I make. Hey, I couldn't take you and I to 5 Happy Meals at McDonald's with my Social Security check. It's that damn small. Anyway,
And so on that note, so look, we need to wrap this one up, and
now we got more fines. to
maybe
get
come
into
back and talk
later.
on the next one. But on that note of Jim having no money, that's why he does these talks. But listen, guys, he is so entertaining, as you can tell by listening to these podcasts. So you've got JimPhillipsAlabama.com, and there's a place on there that you can just hit email, and it'll come to me. We're going to wrap this one up this time. We'll be back for another one. Make sure you go back and subscribe to all of these podcasts. You can look for them on YouTube, Google. They're video versions, although they're just a thumbnail. It's nothing exciting. But go to his website, and you can see all of these items that we're talking about. So, Jim, it has been fun as always, and we will see everybody on the next one.
Gold, 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 they just gotta have that gold, 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 they'll do.
Thanks for listening to another episode. If you have questions for Jim Phillips or would like more information on his speaking availability, visit his website at jimphillipsalabama.com.